Hey, John here. Here's lick of the day number 144. It's an alternate picking sequence using the pentatonic scale. As usual, I'm going to start by playing it slowly once and then break it down. During the breakdown, I'm going to share some practice advice you can apply to this one and pretty much anything else you're practicing. If you want tabs, you have a link to the tabs in the description below. We start here on the 20th fret of the high E string. Right, so this one is fairly short and it's a really good picking exercise because we're gonna play 2 strings at a time and then we're gonna descend down to the A string as well. So it's quite a lot of picking in this one. I start with a downstroke. You can try with an upstroke as well if you prefer inside picking. So both ways work, and yeah, let's just go through it. So we start here in the first, I call it day 1 position here. So we have 20, 17 on both the E and the B string. So down, up, and then we go down to 17 and play 17, 15, 17, 15. So far very easy, same fingering on both strings. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. That thing might be a good thing to practice initially, just to get used to the transition here. So and then from there we're gonna go to 15, 12, and then we have 15, 13. Fingering wise here, I play this with 4, 1, 4, 2. But if you come from here, could do that if you want to, but I think it's better for your technique overall if you do 1 finger per fret as much as possible and just develop your left hand, so it really doesn't matter. But if you have a really hard time with this shape, it's fine to just go 1, 3, 1, 3. So again, put it together. Now the last group of 2 here, it's going to be 12, 10, and then 13, 10. So 12, 10, 13, 10. And we're just going to keep going here to 12, 9 and 12, 10, basically this shape, but from here. And now I'm actually using the 3rd finger. And if you're wondering why I think that's alright for this one, it's because this position is kind of tricky compared to the other 4 positions, because the other 4 you can basically stay in 1 position and have 1 finger per fret pretty easily, but this one you have to make a choice, because if you start here 10, 12, 10, 12, 10, 12, you kind of either have to go 1, 4 and then shift again 1, 4, 1, 3, or as I prefer to do it, I keep the 3rd finger as sort of an anchor for me visually. So I can, if you look at this, here's the 12th fret, and my 3rd finger is going to be on the 12th fret the whole way. So if I go 3rd finger, 3rd finger, 3rd, then I stretch here. I just found that it's way easier to not screw it up, basically. So if you had trouble with this position, definitely try that fingering. I think that's a very solid one. Anyway, back from the beginning, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then on the 6th beat we end up here on the downstroke. And I basically didn't do anything, I stopped. And you can do whatever you want from that point. And as usual with all these licks, it's really up to you what part of them you use. So I got a comment here the other day from a guy watching the channel, and basically he was gonna try to learn every lick, and he would spend a certain amount of time on 1 lick and then, you know, keep moving on and then eventually get all of them. That's fine, and however you do it is great, but in general I would think that only learn the ones that you like the sound of. There's no, you know, there's no prize for you if you just slog through everything. And that goes for anything that you try to learn. So if you try to learn things that you think you should learn, you're gonna end up missing a lot of the stuff that you would like to be able to play. And what I mean by that is that when I started out, I was a huge Metallica fan. And I learned some riffs from Master of Puppets, for example, and I played some of the stuff from Ride the Lightning and all that stuff, right? And I learned Enter Sandman, then Nothing Else Matters, and things like that. But there's a ton of riffs that I never got to because I always felt like, well, I need to start from the beginning of the song, and then, 3 minutes in, this really cool riff kicks in, but I'm not allowed to play that if I haven't done the thing before, which is complete bullshit, because there's too much music in the world for you to ever be able to play everything you even love. So my advice is, both to myself and to you, is to just go for whatever parts you like. Even if it's, you listen to a song and it's like one riff that's cool, learn that riff. Even if it's super hard, even if your technique is not up to it, learn it anyway and be able to play it at 50-60%. Yes, you can play it in time with itself, because then you've learned what made that sound, and so once your technique catches up, you're going to be able to play it. So that's the most important thing. So don't let anyone sort of guilt you into learning things that you don't like learning, because there's no one else out there that's going to listen to your guitar playing more than what you're going to be doing. So it doesn't make sense to learn things for other people's sake. Of course, if you're going to play in a cover band or something, you need to learn complete songs, even if you don't like the songs, but that's a different story. When it comes to your own practice, it's totally okay to be completely, selfish and just think about, what do I actually like? Because that will also fuel your overall motivation to practice more. So I just thought I'd throw that in there, because I think it's a really important thing that can easily be missed as well, especially when you look at Instagram and you see someone really good at bluegrass and someone really good at jazz and someone really good at shredding or whatever, and you think that you sort of get a view of this perfect guitar player in your mind and think that it's the same person that plays all this stuff. But if you really listen to these guys, in general, they have one big thing that they do. And that's why do they do that? Well, because they love that. So really go for what you like the sound of, and that's sort of your mission in life, to learn what is it that makes that sound. And that's probably the best advice I can ever give you, because that will give you more motivation. It will give you all the technique that you need, because, for example, if you're not into slide playing, it doesn't make sense to work on slide playing. So if you're really into technical stuff and you hate the sound of legato, well, work on your picking, right? So it's really important to just go for the sounds that you like. And that includes not having to learn a complete song if you don't like 90% of it, but you really love a certain riff. Anyway, when it comes to practicing this, like I said, do it like this. And then the next one. And I mentioned this the other day, where moving things in half steps is really, really good for you. And this is no different. So if you take this one, for example, and you find that this is a bit tricky, okay, work on that then, and you move that up and down in half steps all over the fretboard. So you start here, or actually you can start down here, but I'm going to show it here, but start as low as you can and then move it up and then down again. But if I go back from here, and so on. So I basically did 2 reps in each position. And what happens is that you really start seeing how the shapes connect much better than just looking at like, oh, I'm on the dots here and I'm not on the dots here. It's a much better way of viewing whatever you're playing. So give that a try. And also, again, I don't want to reiterate whatever I said in the previous video, but if you have something very clear like this, where you start down here, go all the way up and all the way back, and then make sure that every fret is perfect, that's going to help your technique so much. So really give that a try if you haven't done it before. And then you just go through the whole lick like that. So you just take smaller sections, move them around, and they can take bigger sections. And there's a ton of different practice techniques you can use. Another one would be working with accents. And just a quick review of what accents is. This one is written out in 16th notes. We have 4 notes per beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's what I did now. I accented the first note. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Then I can accent the second note. 1, 2, 3. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And then the third and the fourth. And that really helps your synchronization as well. And it forces you to slow down and really focus on what you're doing. So all in all, applying these different practice techniques will do your technique a world of good. Instead of just sitting and learning a lick and then repeating the lick over and over again as is. It's better to take sections of it, move it around, do all kinds of different things to each section, and you will find that it's much easier to get all those reps in, and the reps will be worth more as well in the end. And as a result, you will progress much faster.